That's a masterpiece. In fact, it's
A working dinner. The hosts are the Masters and Warden of Radley. The guests are dons, mostly from Oxbridge colleges. This dinner is part of a continuing dialogue between Radley and the universities. Oxbridge are after creaming off the brightest and best. Radley wants to be part of that cream, and dinners like this help. The Masters are kept abreast of what Oxbridge and the provincial universities are actually looking for, and they forge useful personal links with the very men who will read their testimonials and appraise their product.
Good evening. I'm very hungry, yes. I'm terribly hungry. So is my guest. You just go on piling everything you think I like. Thank you very much.
One boy in 5 goes on from Radley to an Oxford or Cambridge college.
Some 20. Some 30.
James Eadie is hoping to get into Cambridge. If he is to do so, he will first need to get good grades in his 3 A-levels, English, French and History.
Okay, get up.
Eadie's friend Rupert Gaither is hoping to get into Oxford. He too will need to get good grades in his A-levels, which are also English, French and History.
I quite look forward to the prospect of going to university, actually. For me, it's quite appealing.
I rather sort of fancy myself as sort of the cultured intellectual, although I'm not particularly intellectual.
I went down to Magdalen, Cambridge last holidays. I mean, you can never tell, though. If you go there early, it's just really whether you reckon the college suits you, as it were.
It's one thing to go to Oxford, you know. I mean, I couldn't face the thought of being stuck away somewhere in Rotherham, you know.
See, that's what you're aiming at. That's what O-levels and A-levels have been going for. So if you muck up the A-levels and then you muck up Oxbridge, or you muck up Oxbridge, then that's... I mean, it's not 5 years wasted. But if that's what you're aiming for and you don't get it in the end, then it's a bit sad, really.
I want to get to Oxford, okay? I want to get to Balliol. That's really tough. I mean, Balliol's meant to be sort of the ivory tower of the colleges. Well, actually, it's not anymore. It's a bit of a fallacy because apparently, or word has it, they're trying to sort of get some of the lower orders in, as it were, because they couldn't get enough people.
Yeah, well, it's a fair gamble for both of them. I mean, James, again, ought to sail through. I mean, in European terms, he's a bit of a Robespierre. He's a cold, clinical sort of fellow who I would guess will achieve most of his goals in life. And I think we all respect him very much indeed. I'm not saying we all love him very much, but he will be successful. And he would come over very, very powerfully in interview, I would think. Rupert, there are probably a lot of characters in history that he could fit the bill for, but I doff you Danton. Full of goodwill, good heart, but not always with the stamina to see something through to the end. The moral courage, perhaps, lacking, and just how much work he's really done and how much reading he's really got through, I wouldn't be prepared to say. And I think that might become exposed in an Oxbridge interview.
A-level results, probably you'll get them around the 18th of August, I hope, if it's in this country. And finally, those envelopes that you've now got, and write an A or an O, whichever is relevant to the address you're writing, an A or an O in the top left-hand corner.
Bonjour, bonjour, Monsieur Bucknell, oui. Bonjour, Ricard.
5 years in the classroom are funneling rapidly to a climax. Final periods before the fatal fortnight are spent in revision, in question spotting, and in examination tricks of the trade.
Only you can now prevent these mistakes. When you're up against a difficult word, there are various ways of dealing with it. One is to do a Sebastian and just leave it out. This is obviously fatal as regards that particular word. The other is, or the next and most usual one, is to try and think of some other way of saying it. But don't forget, of course, the possibility of really sort of searching in your memory and searching sideways, and you may find something which is, will do quite well. And there's yet another possibility, and that's what I call the Bruin type of approach, meaning what's the French for a bear? Answer un bruin, or whatever it is. And one of you gentlemen did that over the business of his, what is the matter, Philip? She cried, for his face was ashen grey.
Yes, I've got ashen.
Leur visage était grisâché.
That's right.
Et il était obviously sur le point de fainter. That isn't really going to get us anywhere. In fact, it's doing yourself a bit of injustice. All right.
French is a walkover. And if you're either going to get a French A-level or you're not at the beginning of the first year 6. And if you're not going to get one, you're not going to get one. It's as simple as that.
Right, well, gentlemen, what you're getting this afternoon for the first 5 minutes are Huddy's hints for higher expectations. What you actually do when you go into that exam room and you've written down your 2 or 3 quotes and all that.
But see, history is the sort of subject where you just keep on working. I mean, you can't stop if you do it properly.
Just suppose that your maximum grade, just suppose the 1 or 2 who can't go above B grade, just a couple of you perhaps, your maximum score is 14. Now, if you get 3 14s, what does that make?
42.
Right, brilliant. And if you've got a 0 in your 4th essay, in other words, you've got it wrong, 42 is a fail. And it doesn't matter how well you do those first 3 essays, if you don't do yourself justice in the last one, you're down in the dead men. Don't go more than 3 minutes over the allotted time, ever. And do take a watch. Edie's been wearing a watch in his top buttonhole pocket for months, and I've never understood what it's for, but this time it might just come good if it actually works. Does it work?
Yes, it does work.
Brilliant. Right, well, I do honestly suggest you all have your own timepiece.
Personal hints.
None of these boys are going to fail in English. At Radley, you don't fail to get an A-level. It's simply the quality of the grade in which you pass that matters.
And there is, of course, only one thing to avoid. Waffle. Those headings are put underneath there, such as padding. By padding, I mean things like using people's Christian names, referring to William Shakespeare rather than Shakespeare, that sort of thing. Slang, do avoid that. An awful temptation to things like Cleopatra going with Antony, and that was all right. Or there was no way that Nina Barbers could do this, that, or the other. Awful. You must be able to walk into that exam room, sit down, and the rest of the world does not matter. Nothing matters at all. Now, what's just happened there will happen over and over again in the exam room, and it will go away.
Yes, just a minute. What?
So the long summer days of the phony war passed. And as the boys were force-fed facts and hints, they were united with every A-level candidate in the land, longing for it to be over, longing for the holidays, for any distraction, any relief. And it so happened relief was at hand, an itinerant group of Norwegian girls with a program of national folk dancing. An oasis for boys thirsting for a frolic in the dry groves of Academe.
OK, well, don't be unsubtle about it, though. I tell you what, though, what you need is a pair of trousers on. I will be unsubtle if you think of it. They'll just look subtle.
This little trick.
Owie, wait.
Their display over, the Norwegian girls had come down to the river for an afternoon to watch the rowing.
What we need to do is to find over we can sit down and have a fat.
Have on to the small when you can.
Shh. God's sake, Nina, just control yourself. No, come on, Finta, have a cigarette. It's all right, my pleasure. Have a cigarette. Have a cigarette, small side. Please, chuck me some matches. Can I have Herbie, please? Chuck me Herbie, Ruth. You find out all the dons come up to you and tell you that if you fool around, you're going to muck up your A levels because you haven't got the right attitude and you're not buckling down. There's a load of muck really. I mean, it's fine. I mean, what you do in your spare... I mean, there are certain times you aren't going to work. You're not going to work during meals, and you're not going to work during short break. And so, frankly, the more steam you can let off, then the better. Yeah, perhaps you'd like to get up in the face. Okay, piss off. Can you start off?
Damn good razor. What?
Don't. Here, let's have it. Let's have it.
No, you can't have it. Well, piss off. No, you can't have that either. Just read the bloody paper and start off.
I'm going to fight it, don't you?
An armpit.
Spot the crowd.
Real armpit.
Spot the girl.
Dave.
I had a lot of trouble last year, you know, with one thing and another, and you know, I nearly got seen to the station, sort of thing. So ever since then, I have been sort of, well, certainly consciously watching my step, keeping my nose clean. I don't actually keep it perfectly clean, but I mean, I appear to keep it clean.
Come on. Careful, careful, you're bloody pushing your
God.
What?
I know Steve was shooting.
He shot
was shooting crows at 6:30 this morning with his shotgun. I promise you, he's bloody cracked.
He is.
Really
He's
has.
gone. I reckon A levels have gone to his head.
The two most important things for those, apart from the academic side, is the interview and the warden's report. And I mean, frankly, I've got a lot to gain. I mean, in a mercenary way, if I was to keep my nose clean, and so the warden gives me a charming report. I think he quite likes me, and he keeps on saying so anyway. But so if I really butter him up just a bit, just to give it a bit of a zest.
Rupert, what
I just brought some proposals about the library. I didn't know if David else mentioned anything about them.
He has, actually. Have you got a moment?
Yeah, I have. I've got the go.
Let me just... I've got to go and teach him now.
I see.
Okay. I think I agree with just about everything in here, but I always have. That anything that could, as you say here, revitalize the library must be a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I will bring that up and see what sort of a response I get.
Well, I've got to get 3 A grades because tutor's report and the warden's report, by the look of last term's report, isn't going to be too sparkling. So it's going to have to go on academic, really, and sport as far as that allows. I mean, Rupert's different, because he's not, I mean, it doesn't really matter so much for him, because he's going to get a bloody good UCA report anyway. He does the Wilson Lib and the warden's on his side, and he's going to get a good report in that sense. And so he's relying on something else. It's all a question of getting psyched up, actually. And it's going to happen. And if you don't do that, and you haven't put it in, and you're not confident, you're not psyched up, you're going to muck it up.
Well, you're well aware that this is the last period before the exam, and I've made it a voluntary one because I think this rather sifts out the question of is there anything left which you're worried about, or is there
I must confess I haven't worked over hard. Although, I mean, this last week, I mean, since half term, I've been actually pulling my finger out rather a lot. You know, I've been going to bed at 11:30 every night, so I probably sort of collapse when the exams come.
Will you please go in?
Just about crowd from the doorway. Please remember, stay put at the end of your exam. Murder!
Worse. Took a bit of time to get into it.
Yeah.
Takes you about 5 minutes to wake up at 9 o'clock.
What about you, Luke?
Leaves you shaking. What was it?
I tell you, I just...
How much do you write?
I wrote 7 pages.
Yeah. What did you write on? What was it? I wrote 10.
I just couldn't suss it out, everything. What was going on? I mean, this...
Compact was quite difficult. Or did you write on compact?
No, I didn't. I did that. I mean, I didn't know.
I tell you, that's difficult, man.
I know it was.
You're a bit of a moron.
Yeah, sorry. It's all going to be like that.
Oh, the exclusions are revised. Yeah, actually, could well have halfway through the cast.
You got business so tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
Me just doing this.
Yeah, I have to.
I just keep thinking just a hurdle. Just get over it and that's it. Forget it.
Yeah.
Then take the next one and it's right.
I'm not looking forward to Chaucer. Chaucer is not
Sure. I know,
Yeah.
but even so, you don't...
Right. Dennis session. Universal.
I could have must have passed that slide.
In social, I can't really work because I'm right next to social hall. So there's all the new boys and everything doing the exercise. We'll spend the whole afternoon squeaking. And the library to go to sleep in. And so here, you know, just got a bit of a breeze going and just keeps you awake, sort of thing.
What are you doing? Nice too. Nice. Yeah. Is this something totally different? Yeah, totally different.
okay. I didn't do colour, but I think I got it again.
What about this way?
Yeah, good. No, he's going up. Don't mind him. Okay. Yeah, he came out earlier.
It wasn't too bad, actually. It's not much better than I expected it to be. I feel f***ing ill. Christ. I really have. I've got a real brain strain. But, I feel actually dead. I feel f***ing ill, I tell you. I reckon I've got flu. I've got a headache and I feel ill and I feel like puking. Jay. I do, I feel like vomiting. I felt like this after the Samson agonistic exam.
But if Rupert Gaither, James Eadie and co. thought that was the end, they were mistaken. It wasn't the end. It was the beginning.
I'll sort of bore you with talking about exams just after you finish the last lot. In case you're not clear, the exams that you actually have to face differ from Oxford to Cambridge. Barry, do you want to dish out some bits of paper and...
Although Oxbridge takes serious note of A-levels, it still retains its own entry system and its own examinations.
It looks a bit forbidding, but as far as the tragedy thing is concerned, I think the most important thing, as far as I'm concerned, is that you've got actually a holiday which is the same length of time as you'll have next term to actually be taught anything. And the more you can read, the better. You really should spend the whole holiday reading as much as you possibly can, because you'll never get the time to do it. And next term, we want to spend as much time talking as we can. And I'd like to feel that the first day we meet, we can start talking sensibly about Shakespearean tragedy, and you've got some ideas.
If you can shove it as far back as possible, let me... All right? What should we call this situation? Marvellous.
I don't know where my case is. I'll just go out and get it. I better go out and get it.
Do you want to take that
Go
home?
try.
Yeah, because I've got to play on Wednesday.
Shall I bung it in the booth?
No, take it with you.
Oh, mate. There's a lot of room in that.
Come on, on your knees. Stop worrying.
Okay.
Bruce? Oh, yes.
And so the summer term ended, and the A-level candidates scattered to the cities and the shires to await the brown envelopes. On August the 15th, Mary, the warden's secretary, returned to the college with the results she'd picked up from the examination board in Oxford.
Oh. What a frightful moment. I'm sure if the boys realised how much we were filled with nerves, they would be sorry for us, and we are.
383 A-levels were sat, and there were only 5 failures. But overall, it's a slightly disappointing year.
Rosling got A1, A1A.
Oh, good.
Wade got 2 A's and a B. Could be a lot worse.
C, D and E grades make up over half of the passes, but in the crucial A and B grades, there are 60 A's and 83 B's. That's only 37% against a yearly average of 40%. James Eadie has chosen a difficult set of subjects. Cambridge is besieged with applicants who want to read English and history. To stand a chance of a place at Magdalen, he's got to have 3 A grades.
I don't know.
I've got a stomachache, I think. Come on, just put us out.
I did warn you.
Yes, what? Well, I shan't ever see it go. I've got to explain it to me, I just don't think worth it. Edie. A, A1 and A.
Oh,
That's really good. That's really, really good. That's really, really good.
Give us a drink then.
A, A1 and A.
you haven't, have you, Daddy?
James Eadie went on to win a place at Magdalen College, Cambridge.
That's really, really good.
Would you get A1
Really
A?
is good.
Is that better than anybody else?
Rupert Gaither also needed good grades if he was to stand a chance of a place at Balliol.
Rupert, how are you feeling about that now?
Trifle worried. Just hang on, we'll just have a look. That's presumably AAE, is it?
That's right. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I didn't think I'd get any A's, but I thought I'd get more than an E. So in fact, I'm very pleased. I'm actually very pleased with that. But I mean, I'm a bit upset at that. Well, not upset, but I'm a bit sort of pissed off about the E in French. I suppose that's what I deserved.
Rupert, what is it?
Mixed blessings.
Oh dear, what?
I mean, actually, okay. I mean,
No, tell us.
well, first bad news, I got an E in French.
How did you manage that?
Well, lack of skill. But the good news, I got 2 A's in English and history.
Oh, well done. No, that's fabulous. Are you relieved?
Yeah, I am. The other bad thing is that I didn't get the English S level at all.
Didn't you?
Which isn't very impressive, in fact, especially for Oxbridge. I mean, I'm definitely going back next term, but I mean, that's it's a bit of...
Anyway, 2 A's.
Means
very good.
I'm a weaker candidate for next term. That's what that means.
Rupert Gaither was turned down by Balliol. A few weeks ago, he was still knocking on the door of provincial universities.
Could have been worse.
Spanish, I can't remember in English.
What? What are you giving an history?
2.
How's it work?
Good. 19 here.
Well, you do everybody else's name.
Who's taking the test?
What does that count for, actually? I see.
Well, that's just a general paper. That is, in fact, no levels. If you've got less than a C, you don't get the O level.
One shortly, James Burke embarks on a new series called The Real Thing. 6 programs which examine our perception of reality